Welcome Dr. Merine Paul on Power Plays and Tug of War, Internal Politics and External Competition. Over to Dr. Merine.
Thank you, Dr. Preeti. When Sanita called me and she said, ma'am, I'm going to give you the most controversial and, uncomfortable topic. So I said, okay, I'm happy to deal with that. So I'll be talking about all the uncomfortable things like, yes, we are human beings, right? So there will be tugs of wars, there will be power plays, all these things happen in a closed environment where you're working, and we are all individual personalities, right? So this, from my point of view, is coming as the insights from my role as a medical director in a mid-sized hospital right now. And every hospital, big or small, has its share, like I said, of internal and external power struggles. And this I am talking from the trenches, the real, what you face on a daily basis. So you will realize that some of these dynamics work in your place as well. Not everybody will have the same kind of setups. So number one thing is that you need to understand that the landscape of eye care is changing faster than ever, every day. Like it's a dynamic process. Today there is something and you think, okay, I am set now, but no, things change. It's all evolving and it is all very dynamic. And patients are extremely demanding, competition is intense, and there are more and more regulations. These are all the government is trying to put you down as well. So mid-sized hospitals feel squeezed. Both ends. You're too big to be fully flexible, but especially I'm talking about the mid-sized hospital, and too small to absorb all the shocks. Now I'll just structure my talks in two ways, the internal problems and the external problems. So within hospitals, like Minu said, that you'll have all these stakeholders because you need the money, you don't have it in your pocket, you have to borrow from some. So there will be they'll want returns. So within every hospital, there will be these multiple power centers. There will be the clinical teams, the admins, the technicians, and the counselors. So they're all like independent groups sitting there thinking we are the king of the castle. And many times the goal is the same. Everybody wants the same, but the language and the priorities are different. Okay? So this misalignment creates friction. Doctors feel that admin is slowing us down and they are interfering in everything. And admin feel, hey, these doctors don't follow any systems. So documentation, cost control, HR policies, all of this become points of contention. So, when I first joined this hospital, I was like, every day they're meeting. When do I get time to go and, see the patients? But that's part of the job. We can't sit in that, silo saying, oh, I will only see patient. No, if you are in the admin, you have to do all these things. So true harmony requires clinical and admin co-leadership. You can't sit in your silo saying you want to be an entrepreneur, it sounds good, but I will not do all the drudge work. Another major problem is this, senior versus junior surgeons. Okay. This is a classical tug of war scenario. Seniors feel very protective about their turf. You don't want to give them surgeries, you don't want to, but juniors, of course, they are hungry for opportunities and visibility. So case distribution becomes this very emotional, thing. So the real solution is mentorship. Like I said, always seniors, I think, should take that lead, and you pair it with transparent case allocation. Okay? You must work out your own system, how you are going to do it. But if you want to retain talent, you need to do this. The next thing is silo thinking. Retina feels, oh, I see the world differently from cornea. Cataract sees it differently from glaucoma, and each one thinks that my department is the centerpiece of the hospital. So this hospital runs because of my department. So this has to change. There has to be a hospital-wide cohesion, and you need a unified approach to how we are going to deal with it. Finally, resource allocation. Who will get OT time when? Who will have, the instruments? I want this microscope, I want that. There should be some amount of, give and take. The retina person will want the high-end microscope. So everything cannot be bought. Money has to be always kept in mind. Now, external battlefield, whole different scenario. Competition is ruthless. Accept it. That is the way it is going. Okay? So corporate chains will offer aggressive pricing, huge branding exercises, hiring packages. They will take away your star surgeon. And finally, the patients whom we are supposed to be dealing with, they turn out to be our greatest adversaries. Huh? They are like, they compare us not only to one another, but also to Google. They sometimes know everything except the diagnosis, everything they'll know. They just want you to do this particular thing only for them. That is the world we live in. Accept it and move on. Corporates definitely have helped us in a big way, because like we are what we are today because of corporates and the way they have structured it. But also because, oh my God, I'm really out of time. So they will pull your senior surgeons with attractive packages. Their scale allows them.
You can take more time, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. This scale allows better bargaining with vendors and insurance. So mid-sized hospital have this problem. We cannot bargain in that kind of, this thing with the vendors, because they'll give these corporates huge discounts. They don't have to pay. 1 year later also they'll pay. If you're in a mid-sized hospital, that doesn't work. Another thing is, you need to understand how you're going to differentiate from the corporates if you're running a mid-sized hospital. The only way is build trust. Have your outcomes, your outcomes should be good. It will take a little more time, but it will come. And project your experience. So earlier, another important problem now is the TPS and the insurance. Earlier, the doctor would decide what lens, what thing. Now we have no say, literally, because ultimately the insurance decides. And how do you do it? Audits, denials, and reimbursement delays, all of this affect your cash flow. And if your cash flow is not coming in, you cannot, pay salaries, everything gets held up. So the main thing is that, especially when dealing with insurance, clean documentation, that's a key survival skill. So coming to leadership and solutions, just tell me when I need to stop. Okay. So basically, you need to have a safe space for people to come, for the team to work this thing. It has to be the psychological safety, has to be the cornerstone of your conflict resolution. There will be conflict, accept it. People speak openly only when they feel. I think somebody else has already talked about it. And if everybody pulls towards the same direction, this tug of war will stop. And it's very important to, like Minu said, celebrate the wins. Make the team feel that they matter. And they matter in decision making, and also communicate the goals that you want to, So have systems in place, because systems are neutral. People, individuals are emotional. So if you have the system in place, then there is no argument. And protocols will reduce these ego-driven decisions. And when everything is structured, the power struggles will reduce. And coming to future-proofing, how do you, improve this thing? We are already using a lot of tech, but learn to incorporate AI into this thing, because it will bring standardization and it will reduce the human friction. Instead of saying that, so and so decided this will be this thing, you can say this is our standard protocol, and the AI feels that you are the one who's going to do this job or this thing. So then, it takes out the personalities. Like I said, try to take out the personalities. And it can also help in your workflow management by helping in triage, workflow optimization, and patient communication. Another thing is important is how do you make, retain talent. So develop the talent, because that will, your in-house talent, because that will reduce your external dependence and is the best insurance against attrition. So have leadership trainings, that will help build. Every hospital has its own culture, and you need to build that culture. And say like, okay, this is what is, how our hospital works. So that, people take ownership of that. So coming to the conclusion, the key takeaways are internal and external forces shape how a hospital will function. Systems, like I said, will reduce conflict. And leadership is about balancing interests and moving forward together. Power struggles are inevitable, like I said, but how we channel them will determine the evolution of how your institution or your organization grows. Thank you, and I hope that was helpful. Because, yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Merine. Ma'am has once again proved that how can a person handle so lucidly a difficult topic. Thank